This is Manish Nigam, and today I am here to explain you the poem Amanda, written by Robin Klein. In this poem, the poet has beautifully explained a mental condition of a girl, that is Amanda, who is constantly instructed by her mother. The mother is there to point her out that you should do this, you should do that. And Amanda, on the other hand, is neglecting her mother's instruction, and she is lost in her own imaginary world, her own fantasy. The first world that she is dreaming about is of being a mermaid. The second, she thought herself to be an orphan. And third, she thought herself to be a girl, that is Rapunzel, a fairy tale. So now I am explaining you the poem line by line, and I'll give you the meaning and the explanation. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. The first stanza that is spoken by her mother, Amanda's mother. And she instructs her daughter, that is Amanda, not to bite her nails, not to bend down her shoulder, not to hunch. Hunch means bending down, not to bend down her shoulders. And third, she tells her that she should sit straight, not slouching. Slouching means sitting lazily. So in the first stanza, the mother instructs Amanda not to bite her nails, not to put her shoulders down, and not to sit lazily, and sit straight in a proper posture, with a proper posture, so that she should look strong and stout. Now the second stanza. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid drifting blissfully. The mother is there instructing the child, but the child is lost in her own world, her own fantasy. And she imagines herself to be in a green sea, languid green sea. Emerald means green, languid means calm, silent, peaceful. So she imagines herself to be in a calm, peaceful green sea where she is the only dweller. Inhabitants means dweller, the one who lives there. So she imagines herself to be the only dweller, and the waves, the water current are just drifting her here and there, and she is like a mermaid enjoying that moment happily. With that happiness cannot be imagined. The joy, the mirth, the glee that girl is feeling. Second stanza, let me tell you again the main points. She imagines herself to be in the green sea, which is calm, and she is the only dweller, she is the only soul who is living there, and she is a mermaid. Mermaid means half girl, half fish. She is a mermaid and she is enjoying the moment, enjoying the drift, enjoying the flow of water, and she is flowing with it. Third stanza. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. The regular questions asked by parents about completing the work. You may have been asked many a times, completed your work, cleaned your room, polished your shoes for the next day. So in the same way, Amanda was also questioned by her mother that did she complete her work? Did she clean her room? And did she polish the shoes so that she can be ready for the next day to the school? Now, what Amanda's reaction? Because Amanda is not at all responding. She has her own fantasy. She has her own dreams. So what she imagines? I am an orphan roaming the streets. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Now, in this stanza, Amanda imagined herself to be an orphan, a child without parents. And she dreams that she is walking in the streets, bare feet, not without shoes or any sandal or any chappal. She is walking there, wandering there without shoes or sandal. And while she is walking on the dust or the sand, her footprints, the marks of her bare feet, can be seen. She enjoys that silence, she enjoys that freedom, and she is very happy being an orphan. No child imagines to be an orphan. But Amanda here dreams that she is an orphan and she is roaming in the street, she is bare feet, and while she is walking, she creates the footprints there on the dust or on the sand, and she enjoys that freedom, she enjoys that silence. Now the next stanza. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I am speaking to you, Amanda? So Mama is there now. In the next stanza, Mama is asking another question, instructing her again. Beta, please don't eat chocolate. They are harmful. They can cause pimples, acne on your face, as it is a teenager problem. The pimples, acne and other bad effects of eating sweets or chocolates. So Mama is there instructing, don't eat that chocolate. And she also tells her that while she is talking to her, she should look at her. While Mama is talking to Amanda, she should look at her. So in this stanza, Mama is instructing Amanda not to eat chocolate because it may cause her acne problem, create her acne problem. And then she also tells her that she should look at her while she is talking to Amanda. Now the next imagination of Amanda, what she imagines? I am a Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower, a tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Before I explain this, let me talk about Rapunzel. What is Rapunzel? It's a fairy tale actually. And in this fairy tale, Rapunzel was confined in a tall tower by an old witch. And that lady, the old witch, actually climbed the tower with the help of Rapunzel's hair. The hair that she threw through the window. The old witch climbed there and she had that discussion or the conversation with that girl, Rapunzel. Apart from that, Rapunzel was all alone, peaceful in that tall tower. So here Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel. I am Rapunzel, I have not a care, life in a tower is tranquil and rare, I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. So Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel who is imprisoned in a tall tower which is tranquil. Tranquil means peaceful, calm. There is no disturbance, there is no botheration, there is nobody to guide her, instruct her and tell her anything. But she determines that she would not throw her hair out of the window so that any stranger cannot intervene in her life as it had happened with Rapunzel. As Rapunzel had thrown her hair out of the window and she was disturbed by that old lady, old witch, Amanda is not going to make that mistake. Let me give you the main point again. Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel and she thinks that she is in a tower, tall tower, where she is in a peaceful state. No one is there to disturb her and she is enjoying that moment. But she also decided that she would not throw her hair down through that window because she doesn't want anybody to disturb her life. Last stanza, my dear children. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. Here, Mama is there instructing the child, better do this, better do that. don't do this, don't do that. So do's and don'ts are there, directed by mama. But Amanda is there lost somewhere else. So she is not at all listening her mother. So mama is annoyed and she said, come on, look at me. Why are you so behaving strange? Why are you looking disappointed, disturbed? You seem to be a moody girl. Don't behave like that, my dear child. And then she says, stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. And mama says that I don't want anybody to blame me for harassing you, for insulting you, for taunting you, for ridiculing you. Because I am not doing that. Actually, I am willing to make you a well-behaved child, well-mannered child, well-cultured child. So this was the completion of the poem, my dear children. Hope you would have understood it, liked it. Thank you and God bless.